Hey guys, EDDBUD here. And while other YouTubers are battling it out, they're having a discussion whether the Beacon 3 from New Balance has got Fresh Foam or Fresh Foam X, I decided to review another shoe, the Altra Escalante 2.5. Another zero drop shoe. I'm going all out on the zero drop. Really enjoying the zero drop as well. Really liked the Innovate Terra Ultra G270s and really enjoying this one too. So first shoe from Ultra that I've reviewed on the channel. How does it shape up? A couple of initial runs under my belt actually in this one to give a really good well-rounded review. Some shoe stats first though. So this iteration of the Altra Escalante has a 20mm midsole. Lovely wide toe box here. Obviously it's a zero drop shoe, so it's 20mm in the heel, 20mm in the forefoot. In my size 11 UK or size 12 US, it weighs in at 289 grams, which is just below 10.2 ounces. So zero drop, but far from zero cushion in this one. Here's my breakdown after my initial runs. Upper first. So as winter comes around, we all have that favourite jumper, don't we, that we grab for from the cupboard. There's one that you just put on and makes you feel really, really cosy and warm. Comfortable and accommodating. And that's certainly two words I would use to describe the upper on this shoe. Upper has a lovely wide toe box. It's really quite apparent when you first put the shoe on. You step in and think, ooh, that's nice. Just got loads of room for your toes to move around, which is something that's quite lacking on running shoes of recent time. Your toes can splay out a little bit, and it's quite apparent actually when you're running, because you can slam your foot down onto the surface and it just feels a little bit more stable. Doesn't feel as if it's pushing your toes together. I don't know what this movement is. You may say to me, Ed, the upper looks a little bit too warm. But don't fret guys, it's actually a very breathable shoe. It's quite stretchy, this upper knit material. There's a little bit of stretch to it everywhere. It's very nice. Quite padded here in the heel, although that is one small negative to the shoe. I have found after it got quite moist and wet that the upper's actually holding on to that moisture a little bit. I did re-weigh the shoe after my second run and it had taken on quite a few grams of water and moisture. Just something to bear in mind. Certainly quite a glove-like fit can be achieved though when you cinch up the laces on the Escalante 2.5. Sock-like perhaps in the extreme, and over my initial runs I can suggest I am a bit of an Ultra convert because I really, really enjoyed them. I found it really easy to pick up the cadence in this shoe. Great lockdown here and a very flexible fit. I didn't find it too warm in our warmer temperatures right now in the UK, but I think it might be a shoe that actually still works when the temperatures start to come down and Jack Frost starts to nip at our noses. I enjoyed the upper here. I'm going to give this a 2.5 out of 3 after my initial runs. Midsole now. You know, midsole is always my favourite section of a review video. I can't wait to talk about this one as well. The Ultra Ego midsole material here in the Escalante 2.5 is quite rubbery. There's quite a lot of rebound there. A lot of people said to me, Ed, Ultra shoes, you know, zero drop, I'll be really firm. Don't listen to them. I found these really responsive actually. Quite a similar feel to the Rebel, the Fuel Cell Rebel from New Balance. And also the Beacon as well. Over a multitude of different surfaces and terrain, I found these a really enjoyable and quite forgiving ride. Over the two runs, hit a variety of different paces, anywhere between about 8 minutes per mile through to about 6 minutes 30 per mile. They've really shone today on the tempo run of 8 miles at 7 minutes 30 per mile. I mean, you don't have wild compression here in the midsole like you get in a shoe with Zoom X or Fuel Cell. It's a little bit more of a dense and robust compression, but with quite a lot of bounce and rebound there. I'd say closer to Light Strike from Adidas if anything. And much, much more cushioned and enjoyable than the React foam that Nike are using right now. As I say, over that 12.8 kilometre run this morning, I felt there was easily enough cushion here for that type of effort. Anywhere between about 30 to 40 seconds off my goal half marathon pace, and I certainly felt the zero drop here promoting a slightly faster cadence than normal. I'm not feeling any adverse effects from wearing zero drop shoes recently in the Innovate G270 or this one. Then again, I've been running a lot of miles recently, so maybe that's something to do with it. There's some good energy return here and some good protection underfoot from that Ultra Ego midsole material. I've really enjoyed these. I think you should try them out as well. I'm going to give these a 2.7 out of 3 for midsole after my initial runs. Outsole now. So we've got this really intriguing foot shape outsole here. Lots of rubber. It does actually look like a very large foot, possibly from some sort of forest beast. It really does create quite a slap actually as you hit it down on the terrain. I think I scared a couple of passers-by as I was approaching them, and they really did hear me in the Escalante 2.5 today. Traction I noted as being very good on paths and roads. Quite a bit of rain recently has left my typical route quite sodden, and certain areas there's some puddles. Certainly some of the dirt has got quite muddy and challenging conditions for any shoe really. The Escalante 2.5s negotiated those areas without too much of a problem. One area I have found that's a bit of an issue, there's some very small cutouts here and they're picking up lots and lots of dirt, and the only way you could probably get those out is with a toothpick or a small knife or something. If that really bothers you, it doesn't really bother me that much. It's going to happen again if I go out in these, so no point fretting about it. As I always say, these aren't designed to be put in a glass case, they're designed to be used. I think those invested in keeping their outsoles debris free may feel a little challenged with this one. I'm not going to make any ridiculous Criswell type predictions about the durability of the outsole on this shoe. I don't have enough experience in Ultra shoes to do that. I often see those people say, yeah, I think these will last for 400 miles. You don't know, you don't know. You can buy a new car and drive it off the forecourt and it can break down in a couple of miles or something, so it's hard to say that. I think everybody's foot strike and running gait, you know, all those things add up to that. There's not too much of a pattern to the outsole here, so it'll be interesting to see how it does hold up over time. I'd say if anything, a slight drawback is there's quite a lot of rubber there. They probably could have made the shoe even lighter if they just minimised some of the rubber here. I don't feel it's needed, all of it. Maybe they could have just trimmed off a little bit of the depth to it to save a few grams. Also, not the greatest on gravel or small stones. I didn't feel that the traction was all that great on those type of surfaces. But then again, Ultra have got other shoes that specialise in those type of scenarios. So, still a decent score for outsole of 2.6 out of 3 after my initial runs. Got to talk value now. So I picked these up from a French website for just over £100, and I've got to be honest, I think they're smashing value. 100 Earth credits for a really great fitting shoe like this, really nice feel to it. I think I could even get away with wearing these just casually as well, you know. If I fancied bursting into a run at some point, I'll be ready to rock. I think that's a really reasonable price for a brand new model, and obviously the weight here is just the right side of 300 grams. I want to give a shout out to Hard Loop actually, and Charles at Hard Loop. He arranged a exchange so I could get the right size for these. Thanks Charles. Top customer service there. I can really recommend this website. Great fitting upper, wider toe box. Perhaps if you've got a wider foot, this could be ideal for you. A very reasonable weight made the miles really enjoyable this morning. I've got to be honest, I've been fitting in running where I can, staying relatively close to home. Obviously Mrs. EDDBUD is expecting very, very soon. We've passed the due date by a couple of days, so it could be at any moment. But really did enjoy my run in the Altra Escalante 2.5 this morning. I feel that it can handle a variety of different paces, so a very versatile shoe. I think, as I said, it fits more in with the Fuel Cell Rebel or the Beacon from New Balance in terms of its rebound type feel. I feel it's a more up-tempo shoe for me, rather than a daily shoe like the Pegasus or perhaps the Clifton from Hoka One One. As a runner that tries to be open-minded about all sorts of different manufacturers and models, this shoe really appeals to me, and it's a real breath of fresh air. With certain manufacturers being more about aesthetic design rather than performance right now, you got outlandish colour schemes and just overpriced, over-specced, unnecessary bits. This is just the bare bones, and I like it. Perhaps the Telecaster of running shoes. I'd suggest that looks-wise, it's not probably the best looking thing in the world, but I think it looks okay. But who cares? It does the job. It works well underfoot. Just feels great. Kind of doesn't really feel there. It feels like you're doing the running rather than the shoe. I think it could open up a few doors and opportunities for people to improve their running form, their fitness, and just generally enjoy running. Value-wise, at just over £100, I don't think you can really go wrong with this one. I'm going to give it a 2.7 out of 3. So if I've totaled up the scores correctly, that gives us a overall score of 10.5 out of 12. So, very decent score after my initial runs for the Escalante 2.5 from Altra. Do you like Altra shoes? Are you into the zero drop? What do you make of this review? If you got any questions, post them in the comments below. Time for a musical interlude. You guys know I love Neil Young and Crazy Horse, and you can't really go wrong with Rust Never Sleeps. This was also an album, but you can get it on DVD and possibly Blu-ray now as well. And it features Neil Young's best stuff, really, up to the sort of mid-70s period. Amazing tracks like a Hurricane are there, with screeching feedback and wonderful guitar breaks. You got some of his country tunes on there as well. Comes a Time and Lot of Love as well. It's really nice. He kind of builds you up and then brings you down again. There's an incendiary version of Hey Hey My My Into the Black as well, where he seems to employ a special guitar pedal to get even more distortion. There's a grinding version of The Loner as well, and When You Dance I Can Really Love as well, a top-notch version. Do go and check this one out. Neil Young's even got his stagehands dressed as Jawas. I mean, you can't lose. The sound men seem to be wearing these strange cone head things as well. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. And there's oversized amplifiers and microphones everywhere as well. It really is something to behold. It's kind of like if Neil Young gave EDDBUD the opportunity to design his whole tour stage layout. It's pretty much how I'd do it. Oh, and Neil Young's wearing braces as well. You can't get better than that. Quality stuff. Neil Young and Crazy Horse, Rust Never Sleeps. There's all sorts going on. There's dogs barking, there's planes flying by outside, EDDBUD's wearing zero drop shoes. What's going to happen next? Thanks for watching through to the very end, guys. I very much appreciate it. Hope you're having a smashing day. If you haven't done so already, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button and click the bell for notifications below of when the new videos launch. It helps the channel out as well if you give this video a thumbs up like and also share it with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD and I'll be seeing you